轻的海风吹着你，让层层的浪花拍打你。鼓浪屿啊，鼓浪屿，舞蹈为你带来如花的美丽。
These are the faces of resilient people whose lives are inexorably linked to the sea. Along these waters, they have found a home, a place where sky, land, and sea melt into one breathtaking wonder that is Xiamen. Like the ebb and flow of the tides, they willfully submit to the cycle of life. Theirs is an inspiring story about people and the environment. This is the Xiamen story. Xiamen is a bustling coastal community in China located south of the Fujian province and west of the Taiwan Strait. With a land area of 1,565 square kilometers and a sea area of 390 square kilometers, Xiamen consists of the Xiamen Island proper, the Gulangyu Islet, and the northern bank of the Julong River. Inhabited mostly by Xiamen-born Chinese, the municipality's population reached 1.4 million in 2003 and is expected to balloon to 2.2 million in 2010. Xiamen is a fusion of the ancient and the modern. Amidst its contemporary buildings and structures lay historical evidences that echo its rather tumultuous but colorful past. Xiamen's administrative history began in the 3rd century AD when the Xijin dynasty set up the Tong'an County in the year 282 AD. In the late 14th century, the Ming dynasty established a bastion of defense and named it Xiamen City. Known as Amoy to the earlier generations of Westerners, Xiamen has had a long history as a port city. After the Opium Wars, it became one of the first treaty ports to be opened to foreign trade and settlement following the Treaty of Nanjing in 1842. Xiamen's coastal waters include the West Sea, South Sea, East Sea, and Tong'an Bay, creating a 234-kilometer coastline. Found in these waters is the white dolphin and the egret, the symbol of Xiamen. Within Xiamen's shores is a wealth of marine species and aquatic resources that provide food, medicine, and livelihood to this growing population. Fisheries and mariculture are the two major sources of income in this medium-sized coastal city. Other coastal activities include port development, international trade, light and heavy manufacturing industries, coastal construction, beach reclamation, and tourism. During the 70s, the wetlands of Malawan Bay were converted into rice fields to increase food production. The mouth of Yundang Lake was closed, which later became a man-made lake. Xiamen's economic development gained momentum in the 80s when the State Council of China declared it one of the 5 special economic zones. Along with the vision of building Xiamen into a modern, international, maritime scenic city, came the rapid entry of industrialization and urbanization. From 1980 to 1993, Xiamen's economy grew by an annual rate of more than 20%. By the early 90s, the gross domestic product of Xiamen reached an estimated 13 billion yuan, about 8 times higher than in 1980. Throughout this period, fish production grew to as much as 42,000 tons in 1993. Recognized as a viable economic activity, mariculture practices expanded, covering up to 60% of the designated culture areas. Alongside such developments came the expansion of Xiamen's port facilities. The Xiamen port has geographical advantages, located along significant economic and trade routes. With the completion of the second phase of the Dongdu port and the operation of 66 berths, Xiamen's port handling capacity reached 11.4 million tons and became one of the 10 largest ports in mainland China. Xiamen's economy grew as its trade and manufacturing industries began to take root. Beach reclamation, coastal construction, sand quarrying, and real estate development likewise found their way into Xiamen's development plans. Xiamen's people embraced the benefits of rapid development, but were confronted with the environmental hazards that came along with these economic activities. The intensive economic development that took place from the 80s to the early 90s put much pressure on Xiamen's environment. Massive mariculture activities polluted the waters and affected navigational safety. Extensive shipping and port activities raised the incidences of sea accidents, and oil spills aggravated the declining environmental quality. Industrial and urban effluent discharges contributed to water pollution and food contamination and affected residents' health. Beach reclamation and causeway construction reduced and segmented Xiamen's coastal water area. Sand quarrying and unregulated construction caused erosion and siltation, induced shoreline retreat, and damaged coastal infrastructures and ecosystems. And rubbish from recreational and tourist facilities littered the shores and offshore waters, upsetting the overall sanitation of the municipality. These activities, compounded with population explosion and economic development, drastically changed Xiamen's biological community structure and natural habitats. The number of white dolphins and egrets declined at an alarming rate. Xiamen turned into one of the most environmentally challenged coastal municipalities in China.
It was very bleak and desolate here 20 years ago. This bridge hadn't been built. The smell was heavy and disgusting, and the air was corrosive. I had to replace my television and refrigerator every several years. Moreover, there were many mosquitoes, and we had to hang mosquito nets to help us sleep.